Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Jared, and today we're going to be doing a full review on the Lil Native. Now, right away, I've got some size comparisons for you guys to check out because when I first got this knife, I was pretty shocked at how small it was, which I know sounds really dumb because it's like, I mean, it's not called the Big Native. It's supposed to be small, right? But I didn't think it was going to be this small. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just a thing. It was just, okay, wow, that's kind of tinier than what I expected. Oh, well. So let's just get into the stats right away. So we have a total length of 5.89 inches with a handle length of 3.47 inches. We have a blade length of 2.42 inches with a cutting edge length of 2 inches. The blade stock thickness is 125 thousandths of an inch, and we are featuring S30V steel. The clip options, carry options it's everything. It's 4-way ambidextrous, which is very interesting for a knife this small to have so many clip options. Pretty cool, pretty nice. As you can see, that it is the backlock model, and at the time of shooting this video, this knife cost $150 brand new. So the fit and finish on this knife, we are featuring G10 scales and a satin blade finish. Let's actually talk about this finish for a minute. So this finish is really, really nice. It's very resistant to fingerprints and smudging, and I would even guess that it's moderately resistant to scratch marks on the blade when cutting. It's got a nice sheen to it. It almost looks bead blasted. So let's compare that to the finish on this Para 3, for example. You can see that it's a little more, the belt that they use to finish this is much finer as opposed to this, but still, it definitely has like a bit of, it almost looks like it's coated in something, which is really interesting. It's really nice. I really like this finish. It's very much more fingerprint friendly. So let's talk about the blade shape. So we have S30V, like I said earlier, and we have a full flat grind leaf shape blade. Nothing special here, nothing out of the ordinary, just plain, typical, standard for Spyderco right here. And that's because it works. It really does. It's a leaf-shaped blade that looks exactly like the Manix. It looks exactly like the Native 5, the Native Chief, and the Sage. I mean, it's just a tried and true blade geometry, and it's very, very effective. So the action with this, it's not going to be as fidgety as, say, a compression lock or a flipper, but that is okay. I don't think that it's very hard to get. So this is a knife that's in the same kind of size category, right? This is the Rhino, by the way. It's a little bit more fidgety, but it's a compression lock. But because the blade is so small and just the way that everything lines up in general with knives of this size, it's not really going to drop shut. Now, I have seen the compression lock version of this knife drop shut, but again, this is going to be looked at as more of a like a fifth pocket carry. And when it comes to a knife like this, I don't typically care about the action on a knife like this, right? A very good, strong, solid lockup is more important to me, and this is so secure, unbelievably secure, which is inherent of the design. So let's talk about the ergonomics. The ergonomics, man, 10 out of 10 per usual for Spyderco. It just feels so good like this. I mean, I do typically like jimping on both the top and the bottom, but I don't find myself missing it here. I really don't, and it just goes where I point it. I mean, look where the point is. It's right in line with the pivot, right on top of my thumb, and it's just very, very, it just feels really, really nice. I have a very strong, very solid purchase on this little guy right here. So the aesthetics, the way that it looks, it doesn't really strike me one way or the other. I would consider something like this, the Rhino, to be, a little bit more flashier, a little bit different looking. But this right here, it's simple, right? And oftentimes, keep it simple, stupid, right? Oftentimes things that are simple are the most effective, and I think that's kind of what we have here. This isn't flashy. This doesn't have all the, the bells and whistles, so to speak. But man, this is going to perform for you every single time, and it's just such a solid little piece. So let's talk about the value. So at the time of shooting this video, this cost $150. There are a ton of other options at this price range, and we'll even stay within Spyderco. So at $140, you can get the Sage 5 Lightweight, which has full steel liners, by the way, the FRN scales, but it has a 3-inch leaf-shaped blade, and it has very, very good action. So you can also get a G10 Manix for $140, and you can also get a Native 5 Lightweight for $140. Those are 3 what I would consider to be full-size knives, well, actually, I consider the PM2 to be a full-size knife. But those other knives, with the exception of the Manix, are all going to be kind of in the same class as the Para 3. So you got to think to yourself, for that amount of money, you could get a full-size Manix for less than this. That's something to think about. But I don't, but the full-size Manix, the Sage 5, and the Native 5, those are all knives that I would consider to be like a primary first carry type of knife. And I suppose this would be fine for that, but I would go as far to say that more often than not, this is going to be viewed as, like I said earlier, like a 5th pocket carry type of knife. So my opinion on this, I think it's great. I really do. I did a review a while back on the Spyderco Rhino, and I really, really do like this knife. But in terms of practicality and the EDC tasks that we do for the most part, this is going to outperform that every time just because of the blade geometry, hands down. But in terms of whether or not I think this is worth it, if I had to get like a 5th pocket knife, like for my job or something, or if I just had to, if I was in the market for it and I wanted to, I wouldn't mind spending $150 on this. But otherwise, I would rather put that towards something else. I would rather get a larger knife, just because, this is nice. It's great for what it is, but I feel like for $150, you can get a lot more out there. You can get better steel options. You can get better everything. Not to say that this is not a fantastic knife. Not to say that this is not a phenomenal choice for its intended purpose. But for me personally, unless it was given to me, I really wouldn't. I don't think that I would spend my money on this. And I'm not really typically a big fan of 5th pocket carries, by the way. I'll carry this guy around every once in a while, but it's just for the fidget factor more often than the function factor. So that's my review for the Spyderco Lil Native. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.